I was at my grandson's birthday party last month. Such a joyous occasion. The cake, the laughter, the family all together. My little great-granddaughter Sarah, just 5 years old, climbed onto my lap as we were about to take a family photo. She reached up, her tiny fingers touching my neck, and then she looked at me with those innocent eyes and said, "Grandpa, why is your neck all foldy like paper?" The room went quiet. Her mother quickly whispered, "Sarah, that's not polite." But the damage was done. That night, I stood in front of my bathroom mirror, tilting my head back. I saw what Sarah saw, skin that told the story of my 91 years. Hands that had healed thousands of patients, now spotted and wrinkled, a neck that reminded me every day that time waits for no one. I wondered, looking at that reflection, is this how my patients see me? Is this how you see yourself? Music shifts. Tone becomes more uplifting. I'm Dr. Harold Mercer. I've been practicing medicine for over 6 decades now. Started back in 1958 when we thought smoking was good for digestion and butter was the enemy. Times have changed, and so has our understanding of the human body, especially how it ages. I still see patients 3 days a week, and do you know what brings in more people over 65 than almost anything else? Not heart problems, not joint pain. It's the distress they feel looking in the mirror at skin that no longer reflects the person they feel like inside. Martha, a 78-year-old patient of mine, came in last year and broke down in tears. She'd stopped going to her bridge club because she overheard someone refer to her as Turkey Neck Martha. Thomas, 82, a retired professor, told me he wears turtlenecks year-round, even in August, because his grandson once asked why his neck looked like a turtle's. And Janet, oh dear Janet. She was 73, and her husband of 50 years had passed away. She wanted to start dating again, but she told me, "Doc, who would want to hold these spotted hands or kiss this wrinkled neck?" She showed me how she kept her hands in her pockets when meeting new people. She always wore scarves, even on the hottest days. I see this shame in my office every week. People who have lived rich, full lives now avoiding mirrors, dodging photographs, wearing clothing that hides instead of expresses. Some have spent thousands on creams that promise the moon and deliver nothing but empty wallets. Others have been told surgery is their only option, as if going under the knife at 70 or 80 is something to take lightly. The worst part, many of my colleagues just dismiss these concerns. It's cosmetic, they say. It's just aging, they tell you. But I know better. When you avoid social connections because of how you look, that's not vanity, that's a health issue. When you stop hugging your grandchildren because you're embarrassed by your appearance, that affects your well-being. When you look in the mirror and no longer recognize yourself, that impacts your mental health. Music becomes more explanatory, gentle. Here's what most doctors won't tell you, what most dermatologists don't explain. The wrinkling and thinning of skin after 60 isn't just about getting old. It's a specific biological process that we now understand better than ever. After 60, your skin loses approximately 1% of its collagen every year. But the real culprit isn't just collagen loss, it's the dramatic drop in your skin's natural oil production. The sebaceous glands, tiny oil factories beneath your skin, reduce their output by nearly 60% between the ages of 60 and 80. Without these natural oils, your skin's protective barrier weakens, moisture escapes, the skin thins and wrinkles deepen. The worst affected areas, your hands and neck. Why? Because these areas have fewer oil glands to begin with and thinner skin than your face. Add to that the fact that most people diligently apply products to their faces but completely neglect their necks and hands. It's not your fault. No one ever told you that the skin on your neck has only about half the oil glands as the skin on your face. No one explained that hand washing 10-15 times a day, which most of us do, strips away what little natural oil protection your hands have left. But here's what gives me hope, what makes me excited to share this with you today. There is a solution, and it's not another empty promise in an expensive jar. It's not surgery or needles. It's a simple protocol I've developed over the last 15 years, working with hundreds of patients just like you. This approach has helped 89-year-old Mildred wear short-sleeved blouses again. It's why 92-year-old George no longer wears his collar buttoned to the top. And it starts with understanding that you need to replace what your body is no longer producing naturally. Before I share the full protocol with you, let me be clear. This isn't about looking 30 again. It's about restoring your skin's natural function, its health, its resilience. It's about looking in the mirror and seeing yourself again. And the best part? You can do it at home using ingredients that won't cost you hundreds of dollars, and you'll begin to see and feel changes within just 7 days. Music becomes more instructional. Let me walk you through the 3-step protocol that has transformed the lives of so many of my patients. And yes, I use it myself every day. Step 1. The Nourishing Oil Blend. The foundation of this approach is a special oil blend that mimics your skin's natural sebum. You'll need just 3 oils, all easily found at health food stores or online. Jojoba oil, rosehip seed oil, and a touch of vitamin E oil. Take 1 ounce of jojoba oil. It's actually not an oil, but a liquid wax ester that's almost identical to human sebum. Add to it a ½ ounce of rosehip seed oil, which contains trans-retinoic acid, a natural form of vitamin A that helps rebuild collagen. Finally, add just 5 drops of vitamin E oil, a powerful antioxidant that protects your skin cells from damage. Mix these in a small dark glass bottle. I recommend using an old amber medicine bottle with a dropper. The dark glass protects the oils from degrading in light. For those of you with arthritis who might struggle with droppers, here's a tip from my patient Eleanor. Use a small funnel to pour your oils and store your mixture in a pump bottle instead of one with a dropper. Much easier on those finger joints. Now, why does this work when expensive creams don't? Because oils penetrate deeper than water-based products. Remember, oil and water don't mix. Most creams are primarily water with a little oil added, plus chemicals to make them mix temporarily. Your skin needs oil, not water, to rebuild its barrier. Step 2. The application technique. This is where most people go wrong. It's not just what you apply, but how you apply it that makes the difference. For your hands, place 3 to 4 drops of your oil blend in your palm and warm it by rubbing your hands together gently. Now, using your opposite thumb, press firmly into the back of each hand, working in small circles. Don't just rub the surface. Press deeply enough to feel it in the tissue beneath the skin. Work from your wrist to your fingertips, paying special attention to the areas between your thumb and index finger, where we often see the most pronounced aging. If reaching certain areas is difficult due to arthritis, try this method from my patient George. Place a clean sock over a tennis ball. Apply a few drops of oil to the sock and roll your hand over it on a table. For your neck, tilt your head back slightly. Place 4 to 5 drops of your oil blend on your fingertips and start at your collarbone, working upward in gentle upward strokes. Don't pull downward. Always move against gravity. Use the whole hand, not just fingertips, to cover the entire neck area up to the jawline. For those with limited shoulder mobility, try Doris's method. Place the oil on the back of your hand, then use the back of your hand to apply it to your neck in upward motions. Much easier on the shoulders. Do this twice daily, morning and night. The morning application protects your skin throughout the day. The nighttime application works while your body is in repair mode during sleep. Step 3. The stimulation protocol. This is the step that accelerates results dramatically. Once a week, you'll add a gentle exfoliation before applying your oils. This removes dead skin cells and stimulates circulation, allowing your oil blend to penetrate more effectively. For this, you'll need just 2 common kitchen ingredients, honey and baking soda. Mix 1 tablespoon of raw honey with a ½ teaspoon of baking soda. The honey is antibacterial and humectant. It draws moisture to your skin. The baking soda provides gentle physical exfoliation without harsh scratching. Apply this mixture to damp skin on your hands and neck using the same circular motions we discussed. Leave it on for 2 to 3 minutes, then rinse with lukewarm, never hot water. Follow immediately with your oil blend while skin is still slightly damp. For those who find this mixture too sticky or difficult to work with, Try my simplified version. Add the baking soda to your oil blend just for your weekly treatment, creating a gentle oil-based exfoliant that doesn't require rinsing. Why does this three-step approach work so well? Because it addresses the root causes of aging skin after 60, oil depletion, reduced circulation, and slower cell turnover. By replenishing oils, stimulating blood flow, and gently removing dead cells, you're not just masking the problem, you're actually reversing some of the biological processes of aging. Music becomes more emotional, storytelling. Let me tell you about Eleanor. At 84, Eleanor had stopped playing with her great-grandchildren because she was embarrassed by the appearance of her hands. "They're old lady hands," she told me, holding them up with tears in her eyes. "I don't want the children to remember me this way." I taught Eleanor this protocol and she followed it diligently. 6 weeks later, she came to her appointment and immediately held out her hands to me. The deep creases had softened, the skin looked firmer, more supple, but it wasn't the appearance that mattered most to Eleanor. "Last weekend," she told me, "my 4-year-old great-grandson grabbed my hand on his own and asked me to play blocks with him. He hadn't done that in over a year." She had tears in her eyes again, but different tears this time. Then there's Robert, 79, who had been a public speaker his entire career. After retirement, he was still invited to give occasional lectures, but he'd started turning them down. "Every time I see videos of myself speaking, all I notice is my neck," he confessed. "I look in the mirror and don't recognize the person staring back." Robert was skeptical about my protocol, said he'd tried everything already, but his wife convinced him to give it 8 weeks. Within the first month, he reported that the deep horizontal lines on his neck had begun to fade. By week 6, the skin tone had become more even, less mottled. But the real success, he accepted an invitation to speak at a conference. "I felt like myself again," he told me afterward. "I was focusing on my message, not my appearance." Perhaps the most moving story is Marjorie's. At 91, Marjorie had outlived 2 husbands. She lived alone and had become increasingly isolated. During one checkup, she mentioned that she'd stopped attending her church's senior luncheons. "I don't want to be the oldest-looking person there," she admitted. "My hands look like they belong to someone 110. Marjorie had severe sun damage on her hands, what we doctors call solar lentigenes, but you might know as liver spots or age spots. They covered the backs of her hands like a map. I started her on the protocol but added one additional step, a drop of frankincense essential oil mixed into her blend, which has properties that help reduce hyperpigmentation. 3 months later, the transformation was remarkable. The spots had faded significantly, and the skin between them had a healthier glow. But more importantly, Marjorie had resumed her social life. "A woman at church actually asked me what hand cream I use," she told me, beaming with pride. "Me, the oldest person in the room." Music becomes inspirational but gentle. My friends, I've been on this earth for over 9 decades. I've seen medicine evolve in ways I couldn't have imagined when I first put on a white coat. But some of the most powerful healing doesn't come from complicated procedures or expensive prescriptions. Sometimes it comes from returning to the wisdom of the past, combined with our modern understanding of how the body works. Your hands have held babies, written letters, prepared countless meals, comforted those you love. Your neck has held up your head through decades of life's storms and sunshine. They deserve care, they deserve attention, and you deserve to look in the mirror and feel a connection to the person looking back. This isn't about vanity, it's about dignity. It's about recognizing yourself again. It's about feeling comfortable in the only home you'll ever truly have, your body. Will this protocol make you look 30 again? No. That's not the goal, and frankly, why would we want that? We've earned every year, but will it make your skin healthier, more resilient, more like the you that you remember? Absolutely. I've seen it hundreds of times. I ask you to try this for just 7 days, that's all. 1 week. You'll begin to feel the difference before you see it. Skin that's less tight, more supple. By 14 days, others might notice. You look rested, they might say. By 30 days, you might just find yourself looking forward to catching your reflection, rather than avoiding it. Remember Sarah, My great-granddaughter I mentioned at the beginning? Last week she climbed into my lap again during a family dinner. She put her little hands on either side of my face, looked at my neck and said nothing. Nothing at all. She was too busy telling me about her day at kindergarten to notice my foldy paper neck. And that, my friends, is the real victory. Not the absence of wrinkles, but the presence of connection, unhindered by self-consciousness. If this video has helped you, please consider sharing it with someone else who might benefit. Perhaps someone who has started avoiding social gatherings, someone who no longer recognizes themselves in photographs, someone who has been told that looking old is just something to accept. We know better. I've seen too many transformations to believe that anymore. It's never too late to care for yourself, to reclaim a bit of what time has taken. Your family will notice the difference, but more importantly, you will feel the difference. Until next time, this is Dr. Harold Mercer, wishing you health, dignity, and joy at every age.